In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, despite the fact that more than 90% of African Americans voted to re-elect President Obama, they haven't fared well under his presidency. When he first took office in 2009, the black unemployment rate was 12.7%. Last month, that number had dropped to, well, 12.5. It's a 0.2 drop. That's more than double, though, the white jobless rate. Even some of President Obama's strongest supporters in the black community are not optimistic.
The data is going to indicate, sadly, that when the Obama administration is over, black people will have lost ground in every single leading economic indicator category. On that regard, the president ought to be held responsible.
But is this dissatisfaction enough to drive African Americans into the arms of the GOP? Joining us now from Washington, Orlando Watson, the communications director for black media at the Republican National Committee, and Rafi Williams, the deputy press secretary for the RNC. Mr. Williams happens to be my son. Gentlemen, welcome. Now, let me just quickly say, when you look at unemployment in the black community, it's often cited by folks on your side, the Republican committee, the National Committee. They say he's not doing well. But in fact, you know, black unemployment has dropped slightly under President Obama's watch. It went up under President Bush's watch. Rafi Williams, how do you respond?
Well, let's look at what the president has said he wants to do for blacks, which is nothing. He's not out there trying to help them. He's not pushing a legislative agenda that will drop unemployment down. But when he goes and meets with Latino leaders, he's very direct. He says he wants immigration reform, and he goes about and tries to accomplish it. But he's ignoring a whole segment of the American population. I think that's a problem. And so I think that what we want to see, or black people want to see, is a discussion with them about how he can help them. And, you know, that's something I think the GOP wants to discuss with black people is, well, why isn't he out there talking to you? We want to have this conversation about how we can help and how we can move the ball forward. I mean, you see Paul Ryan going around the country with Bob Woodward. You see Rand Paul going to Detroit and going to Howard.
Bob Woodson, with Bob Woodson.
Bob Woodson, sorry, yeah. Bob Woodson.
So you see an effort, you think, on the part of the GOP to do outreach. Now, Orlando, you're in charge, in fact, of doing that very job for the Republican National Committee, outreach to the black community. I think a lot of people seeing the two of you sitting here, Orlando, would say, how come these two young black men are Republicans? Why are you a Republican, Orlando?
Well, I'm a Republican because the Republican Party, we care about people and we care about improving people's lives. And one thing that I want to see, one thing that I definitely want to see is a thriving black community. Now, in order to have that, you need a few things. You need a community that's built on a foundation where we revive the entrepreneurial spirit, where we focus on educating our youth, where we're focused on having strong moral principles and mutual assistance. These are things that Republicans stand for. These are the things that I believe will attract blacks to the party. We need to rediscover these Republican values and principles, and it'll make us successful as a party, and it'll make the community successful.
But you think that the party is, in fact, doing that the party is dedicated, committed, invested money-wise into making that effort, Mr. Watson?
Absolutely. One thing we had was a growth and opportunity project, and out of that report, we realized that we have to expand the electorate and we have to reach out to people in the black community, in the Hispanic community, in the Asian community, and we've devoted resources. I'm talking time and money and people in all sorts of different states actively engaged in the community, building positive and meaningful relationships.
All right, so Rafi Williams, now your job is to reach out to young people, conservatives. Now, do you see, just along the lines of what Orlando Watson was talking about, do you see the party committed to reaching out to young people in polling showing more and more dissatisfaction with President Obama? What's your message to young people to get them to join the Republican Party?
Well, young people care most about is being entrepreneurs, getting on the right career track, the economy and jobs. That, in essence, is what Obama is preventing them from success in life. And so what we're doing is having a conversation with them, talking about how fewer regulations, how that can allow you to have more success in the workplace, and how you can be put on the right career track. Because time and time again, young people are getting their college diplomas, but they're then not able to get a job on the right career track. They're not able to get a job that even requires a college diploma, and they're not even able to move out of their parents' house. So what we're trying to do is to talk to them and say, well, let's talk about what's hurting you, what's pulling you back.
I understand. Now, you know, the thing about this is, I think lots of young people, especially young black people, would ask the question, wait a second, you expect me to turn away from the first black president? You expect me to turn away from Barack Obama at this moment in history? Orlando, what do you say to them?
Well, look, all across this country, in the majority of cities and towns across this country, it's a two-party system. You have the Republicans, you have the Democrats. But in the black community, it's been a one-party system for far too long, and the black vote's been taken for granted. So what we're asking is for people to give us a choice, or excuse me, people to give us a chance. And the Republicans, I believe, if we talk about our message, if we talk about the issues that matter to folks, like the economy, like jobs and education reform, you'll see we'll be very successful, and people will be successful.
Well, this is an interesting question, Rafi Williams, because here I am, I'm your dad, right? So I'm older generation. I'm a registered Democrat. You're a registered Republican. You expect, I think, to see inroads more so with younger black people changing parties to at least independent, if not Republican, than you do with people my age. But again, you know, I asked Orlando, why is he a Republican? Rafi, your dad's a Democrat. Why are you a Republican?
Because of you, Dad. I mean, that's the bottom line, right? The American dream, the ability of the free market to lift everybody up and to give everybody a shot at a better life. I mean, that's what it did for you, and I think that's what we believe in, and that's what I want more people to have a chance like you did, and I want that to be the standard in America, is to find success and however you can do it, and I believe the free market allows people to do that, and so I support it and want to make sure that everybody has a chance to be as successful as you
You see what happened there? That wasn't fair. I don't know where you learned these tricks of argumentation from. Not from me, but you absolutely shut up your dad. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.